countdown is on for TikTok. The popular social media platform will need to be sold by January 19th, in a matter of days, in order to operate in the U.S. unless the Supreme Court intervenes. But after SCOTUS heard last-ditch arguments from TikTok on Friday, it seems a majority of the justices are inclined to uphold the federal law due to national security concerns. Now, if TikTok ceases to exist here in the U.S., many influencers could lose their livelihood that they built on this very app. Here with us now, video and social media strategist Hena Kelly and J.D. Durkin, a financial journalist at the New York Stock Exchange. Good morning to both of you. J.D., I'll start with you. There are over 170 million Americans on this platform, you and I included. TikTok was one of the few things in Congress that both parties agreed on. Why is the U.S. government going to such extreme lengths to ban TikTok?
Isn't that amazing, Hena? From time to time, members of Congress can come together and agree on something.
Rare.
And
rare.
At least as it pertains to national security concerns from China, this was one of those rare bipartisan issues where Republicans agreed with President Biden. But it was really striking, though, to listen into these arguments yesterday. And I was surprised just how many, not just of the overall justices, but the conservative justices in particular, they were really skeptical of TikTok's overall argument. TikTok is largely arguing this is a First Amendment issue, that we as a platform have a First Amendment right to give this data out, and that the 170 million Americans, that's half the country, is on TikTok, that they have a First Amendment right to access this user-generated content. Justice Kavanaugh said there are concerns China accesses the information. Chief Justice John Roberts said we cannot ignore that the parent company does intelligence work directly for the Chinese government. Samuel Alito, another conservative-leaning justice, said there's an arsenal of information on U.S. citizens. This was expedited. We don't know the exact timeline. We could get a decision within the next week.
So, Hena, you're hearing what the justices said yesterday. You're one of those 7 million people that rely on TikTok's social media platform to make a living. What concerns do you have as the deadline looms? What are you telling your clients?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm telling my clients is, first of all, that we have to be moving our audiences from the platform to not just to another social media platform, but I'm encouraging them to focus on growing their email list, because that way, no matter where they move to, they can tell people. Like for me, I have 500,000 followers, and my focus is moving 500,000 people to email, so that if I move to Instagram or YouTube, then we can tell people that that's where we are.
We know that doesn't always translate from a media app to media app. We had you on a few months ago. You were concerned that Instagram and other social media platforms would not be able to support your business like TikTok has. It's a few weeks later. Has that changed at all? Have the other platforms done anything better to support small businesses like yours?
Well, I think that, I mean, when you look at it, if you really understand what happens with TikTok, it's like there isn't anything like what is happening there. But I feel like Meta specifically has been trying over the last couple of years to really make their platform feel a lot less political, maybe, or a lot more fun for people. But I don't think that any other specific giants that are already out there are going to be able to replicate. I think that someone in the US is going to have to create a TikTok-like app that will be very similar to it. Otherwise, the other ones are trying to do something that's not what they actually do right now.
And figure out TikTok's algorithm, which I think is crucial. JD, let's say this ban is upheld. Small businesses like Hena's are forced off the app. What does that mean for our economy?
Well, first of all, I mean, I definitely recognize how, how unfortunate that would be. That is the secret sauce here. It is that algorithm that has driven the success for creators like Hena and millions of others. They say the opportunity to be discovered, given that proprietary algorithm, is unmatched so far by the other major players. I think it remains to be seen what the overall economic impact would be. I saw one study out of, I believe, University of Chicago, polled a bunch of economists on this exact question, and it seemed like very few of them thought there would be really big, sweeping economic repercussions. But to follow the financial markets, we did see companies like Meta and Snap do very well in yesterday's trading session. So the idea that, maybe TikTok would be phased out, there are other incumbents that could stand to benefit, but it remains to be seen kind of how this will play itself out through the court. And then, of course, what that looks like for tons of creators who have done so well on this platform. They've been able to grow a small business. They are able to make money in ways they never previously thought possible. In many cases, to Hena's point, other platforms have tried, but it doesn't exactly seem to be the same thing, and a lot of them will have to presumably start from scratch.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.